Hi guys, welcome back to my channel, and if you're new here, welcome to my channel. My name is Hales and I make videos about the books that I'm reading. I have worked so hard in the library to be able to film in here and for the shelves to look mostly good. They don't look perfect yet, but I am so excited to be filming this video in here today with the space to have everything set up and have my bookshelves in the background. So this is probably going to be how I film from now on. Unfortunately, I have this giant light over here and I really can't see because there was such a glare on my glasses that I had to take them off. But today I'm going to be talking about the books that I have in my ARC collection. These are all of the physical ARCs that I own. I am not going to go over like ebook ARCs that I have received. And as a disclaimer, I did not receive these physical ARCs myself. I do a lot of used book shopping. I have a Goodwill bookstore near my house. So all of these books have come from the Goodwill bookstore. They were not sent to me, but I also did not actively seek them out. They were there, they were purchasable, even though that's also a bit of a taboo, but they were donated. So the ones that I was interested in, I have grabbed. So the first book that I have is Wayfarer by Alexandra Bracken. I found this at a Goodwill bookstore in Sarasota, I believe. And I grabbed it, and at the time, I didn't even realize that this one was an ARC, but I saw it and I saw the name and I read the back and I really was interested. Sorry, I had to take my glasses off. I forgot that I put them on for a second. But this is like, I don't know if it's necessarily time travel or if it's like teleportation, but she didn't realize that she could travel the way she does. She didn't realize that she was a traveler. So she's looking for this thing that has been stolen from her. It is, let's see the astrolabe. So she's going in search to find it. And from what I understand, it is time travel, and she is like trying to get back to a timeline where she has this so that she can defeat the evil, basically. This was released in 2017, and I think that I got this ARC in like 2021, but I had no idea that this book existed, so I didn't want to pass up this nice floppy paperback. The next one that I have is also a 2017 release, and this is the only one that I did buy on Pango, but it's another case of I didn't realize that it was an ARC when I was buying it. I bought the first book in this series from Books A Million. It was on their clearance section and it looked so good. And I picked that up around the same time that I bought The Casket Girls. And they seemed similar, and I was looking for more things set around that time period. And that book is The Dark Days Pact by Allison Goodman. And basically, the Dark Days Club is ensuring the safety of humanity, and you are signing up to be a killer, essentially. I haven't started the series yet, but I was trying to get them because I was in a physical reading mood at the time and wanted to have it on deck. And I am back in my fantasy era at this point. I just started City of Gods and Monsters, and I'm remembering why I love fantasy so much. So this will probably be a series that I start in October. The next ARC that I have is one that I was so excited when I found. I think this is another one that I found around 2021. And up until last week, this was like my prized possession. It was the book that I talked about the most when I would talk about like favorite editions and things like that, like favorite thrift store finds, and that is Saint Anything by Sarah Dessen. This is my favorite Sarah Dessen book. So when I found the arc, I was really excited. This was the first arc that I found in the wild while I knew what arcs were. So I found Wayfarer and I didn't really understand the concept of arcs. So I was like, okay, whatever, this is a weird, this spine is weird. It's got this date on the top. I've never seen that. And then I actually looked into what that is and thought that was really cool. But when I saw the Saint Anything arc, I was like, I have to have that for my collection. And this is like, I don't want to call any of Sarah Dessen's books dark because they are still like YA contemporary romance, but it is definitely the most twisty, and it is one that touched me the most. Between this and the rest of the story, those are like my top Sarah Dessen books. And I know I have said a lot of the time, like Along for the Ride is the one that comes up the most, that I'm like, yeah, that's my favorite Sarah Dessen book. And it was at the time, but Saint Anything really is my favorite Sarah Dessen book. Like if I give it a little bit more thought, then Saint Anything is the one that I love the most. And the final physical arc that I have in my collection, I found this last week. I guess technically it's been like a week and a half, but I found this. I get so giddy every time I look at it. And if you see my TikTok, then you'll know what this is. But I now possess an arc of Clockwork Angel. This is my holy grail. This is my white whale best thrift store find that I have ever found. When I walked into the Goodwill bookstore, I did not realize that this was even something to be looking for. Like, in theory, I knew that there were City of Bones arcs floating around. I've seen a couple on eBay when I was looking for the Bane Chronicles hardback, but I never actually realized that there would be arcs for all of these. And when I looked this up on eBay last week after finding it, imagine my surprise when I saw somebody selling one of these for $950. Like, I knew that the City of Bones arc was selling for that much, if not higher. I think when I first saw the City of Bones arc, somebody was trying to sell it for $1,500. But I think that one was also signed. Not that I'm like saying that's okay, but it was like a signed City of Bones arc, and that's super rare. If I could get my hands on one of those and not pay that price, then I would probably do it. Not gonna lie. Like if I found one in a thrift store, didn't have to pay $1,500, then yeah, I would be all over that. But the fact that I spent $1.99 on this, and if you have watched like any of my other videos about like any Cassandra Clare book, then you would know how deep I feel about this book, how much of my reading journey is because of this book. This is the book that got me through high school. This is the book that came out when I deeply, deeply needed an escape. So finding this arc, I found this on Friday, and it was the same day that my mom flew to Ohio for the weekend, and I had a lot going on, like emotionally, mentally. So seeing this was just like such a good sign. And the fact that I have it, I was trying to be so stealthy buying this because that Goodwill bookstore has been known to sell arcs for like $50. So I don't know if they got like a slap on the wrist about that, or they just didn't realize that this was an arc. But I got it for $1.99, and that was just everything that I needed that day. But that is the extent of my physical ARC collection. I do hope that at some point I will be able to receive more physical ARCs if that happens. We'll see. But that's it for this video because those are the only ones that I have. If you liked it, like, comment, subscribe, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.